Hey guys, how's everybody doing? Today I tried to use a thumbnail that was more indicative of the truth. I was up late again, go figure, running numbers and doing stuff. Oh, I shot a video last night too. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Anyway, how are you guys? Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. I do appreciate it. And I bet Marcus is here now. Also, I bet we got Marcus, Dan, and Mark in the house because I'm seeing three. All right, let's head over to the market. To Trading View. Is it open? It is, of course. I should say, of course, half the time it's that. All right, let's see. This 24-hour chart. When did we make this? Well, we just made a high now on the open. But last night it was 3:30. Okay, so right at the end of the day. That's right at the end of the day. NASDAQ, look at that. That's wonderful. Bitcoin's down. Oh, shoot, the market's going to crash, but it's only down 41 basis points. I believe they call that a Gaussian distribution or something. But anyway, where it looks very like a textbook or whatever. Anyway, that's indicative of chop, I believe. The 30-minute time frame it's not perfectly like a textbook, but it looks more like one than when you choose a market that's trending, like say AMD. And this is not Gaussian looking. I mean, you do have textbook looking distributions in there. That one looks really good, and that one looks really good. But it's just one trading range after another. Come back and check the prior POC, or sometimes they check a open gap, like is in the case right here, and keep rallying. Spoiler alert: the AMD Y is number one in the max factor today, but I haven't put in the new formula yet. So. But this is the semi-aggressive formula. Coney's been number one for a few days. I'm going to add it. I'm going to fix it more. But this is a decent for. This isn't the formula from a week ago when it was leaving Coney out. So we'll look at that. All right, Amazon. Look at that. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. ARK. Coinbase. What else can we look at? Google. Did anyone do that Google trade yesterday? I came on right at the end of the day. It'd been a miracle if you guys got it on. You guys probably do your own trades too. I'm sure you don't do my trade, but if anyone did follow it, and plus I pretty much do the same thing every time. So lately I've added some more stuff in there, but what's going on with QuantumScape? Well, I guess we'll go look at that. I need like 14, not 1281. Gosh darn it. What's going on with Mr.? That's not good. Come on, Mr. Of course, that's why Mr. fell out of favor on the max factor. I guarantee you Mr. would have been in the max factor had it not been the conservative mix about a week ago or 2 weeks ago, whenever this was. The 11th, 2 weeks ago. I mean, but it's just had a pretty good pullback. Pretty decent pullback, 460 to 410, call it 50 on 40. It's 12% or something, a long way, 14%, something like that. That's 12%. All right, so let's go over and look at the max factor. Yeah, AMD's number one right now with the yield of 72%. The NAV return just this quarter of 35%. NVDW is number two. That's a good one, yielding 36. NAV return 66. Triple QY yielding 57 and NAV return of 11. That's good for triple QI. Its NAV is up 11%. This is the one that everyone hates, and it, to be fair, it does not. It's not a monster on catching upside. It's a monster on catching dividends, but 11% in a quarter is not too bad. But of course, we've been in a rip-roaring market, so. But yeah, this is not known as a beast at catching NAV, but it's doing what it can. And then we have little old Coney down here, 123%, 28% NAV return. My Lord. And then we have ULTY underneath that, 120%. And now this one is also, to be fair, not a beast at catching upside. None of the ones that pay high are. The index ones that pay high, they just aren't going to be a beast at catching upside. But ULTY has got 12.39. I mean, that's not bad for a quarter. It's really good for a quarter. Then there's QDTE. This one is, to be fair, not a beast at catching yield. Catches about half the yield relative to triple QI, right? Not quite half. It was like 60% or something, but gets about 60% more upside, or that's actually 80% more upside or something. If you need yield, you might go for triple QI. If you need NAV, you might go for QDTE. Look at NVDY, 75% making 20% NAV upside. That's good. OARC paying 44% and making 30% NAV upside. SMCY, 121% yield on a trailing 12-month basis. And NAV upside of, call it 20%. That's really good. PLTW, 51% yield and 48% NAV upside. That's the balanced one right there. That's always the one that I'd say 50-50 would be perfect. And that's not really, but just in a mathematical concept of it. The one that'd be perfect is the one with highest total return. But if you were, but the balanced is going to, I just still say 50-50 is better than one that pays 90 and gets no NAV upside, or pays 100 and gets no NAV upside. Anyway, but that's a good example of that. PLTW, 50 and 50. The best would be 100 and 100, but I don't know though. By the time you get to 100, here's Coney 100 and you have 28%. Remember, because the yield comes out of the NAV, so they impede each other. I mean, the high yield impedes the NAV. So, but anyway, that's impressive. 50-50 on Palty, or actually it's not Palty, it's PLTW, PaltW. Then there's MSFO, YMAG, HUI, TSMY, GPTY. GPTY is a balanced champion also. 30% NAV, 30%, or 30% NAV growth this quarter. That's good. That's really good. And not as good as PLTW. But those are balanced champions right there. QDTE, this one's a good one. Or I'm sorry, QDTY. Well, it's okay. Let's look at that for a second. Let's look at QDTY versus QDTE for the quarter, and because they're both on the chart, we'd expect QDTE to do better because it was higher. I guess we could compare them to triple QI also, which was even higher than that one. I wasn't factoring NAV yield enough, and now I think in this formulation I may have gone a little bit overboard on factoring yield. And but so the next formulation is going to be really good. Going to be the best one. All right, so we'll look at QDTE versus QDTY. And let's go out a quarter. So May, so June, July, August, or no, April. April 24th. April, May, June, July. Yeah, that's right. I mean, look at these. total return is within a Round Hill's got him right now, but it's less than a point. And that annualizes out to 2 points, but that's still really close. And is that even right? I guess that is right. I mean, they aren't going to keep going at this rate. Could you imagine if QDTE or QDTY had a total return for the year of 88%? That'd be insane. That would have to mean the Nasdaq's up 150% or something. I guess we could figure that out. Let's look at that. Let's look at QDT was the champion, so we'll put it in there against Triple Q. See how much the Qs would have to be up for that to happen. Okay, so QDT's outperforming the Qs over this time frame. That's really impressive. But anyway, okay, so here's how much the Qs would have to be up. So, and I'm talking, Jackson, what's the matter? You all right, buddy? I'm talking NAV return. How much the Qs are all NAV return. They don't get a dividend. Not really. So to make these go up, let's see, it would be 467 that's 100 points. Thank God. It's actually 96, but it would have to be 4 times that much. So 96, 180, 360. So the Qs would have to be up 360 Q points on something that initially cost 467. That's 80% or something. Yeah, that's right. Because if the Qs were up enough, if they're up 80%, they're all NAV return. So that's the answer. That's the answer. It would have to be, the Qs would have to be up 80% on the year for QDT to have to end up with an 89% annualized gain. That's incredible. And that's assuming everything goes at this rate. All right. Well, we'll look at other stuff. Let's look at maybe the buffer report and that kind of stuff. Marcus did show up. I appreciate you being here. There's 7 of you guys here now too. Okay, well, good. I'm going to show you some cool stuff here in a second. Okay, we covered that. Let's go to the Alti tracker. It's not, of course, story of my life. It's still not working great. I didn't have time to work on it last night. I was in the middle of something else. But I do have it now where it can go in there, and to the extent where we've had a QSIP number before, once we've had one once and I've searched for it, and like Mister's an example, it's been in there before. So it goes through there and it replaced. We bought 21,200 shares of Mister yesterday at 409. We bought some NBIS. We bought some AAOI. We bought some Reddit yesterday. I'll fix that the rest of the way. Here's the actual trades. If we wanted to look at any of them, let's just kind of see if there's any that are interesting. Let's see. These are all 725. So closing. Okay. So yeah, that's tomorrow. Closing positions, and rolling to 8-1. So on this case, ASTS, they're doing the 63.52 collar. So I was talking the other day about Alti and that it needs to go down more than the buffer before before it really kicks in. But that's an example right there. What's 63 minus 52? And it doesn't matter if it's 630 minus 520. I'm just me in individual stocks. So 63 and 52, that's 11 on 66. So that's 1/6. So what is 1/6? 15, 16, 17%, something like that, or yeah. So or 14%, something like that. I need to work on my fractions. So that's that right there. That's the kind of drop you're talking before, and it has to drop that far by August 1st. Not that these aren't good, but I'm saying if you have a path dependency where it drops but not that far, you just have to be aware of what you're buying. And I need to make an index that just adds up all of these. And here's another one right there, INDO. So that one's a 50-40. That's easy to figure out. 10 points on 50 is 20%. You need a 20% drop. What in the heck is INOD? You got to be kidding me. INOD, I nod. Maybe it's maybe they make, I could make a drug joke, but it's not appropriate for saying in the morning. Okay, I nod. Drug jokes are never appropriate. I'm sorry. Well, let's just look over here. Let's compare iNod to QDTE. iNod. Well, look at all iNod. I mean, they both look pretty good to me. I'd rather have QDTE, but iNod looks like it's perfect for ULTY build, right? I'm sure you guys know what it is. Anyway, iNod. All right. Anyway, so we did some iNod, Mara, MicroStrategies. Let's see, on MicroStrategies, we're tranching out a little. Well, it was just two separate tranches, but we sold, I don't know, 1,600 420s and turned around, sold them for $8 or $9, turned around and bought some protection for $3, or not 8 or 9. Well, yeah, it's close to 9. 8. Anyway, just call it 9 and 3. And the level of protection there is, what does that equal? 50 or 45, about 10%. You also have to factor in where the NAV was, what the price of the fund was. But in just a broad sense of the term, that's 10%. That's a 10% caller. But to do it really accurate, you would take that 10% and then you would figure out what the stock's price was, and factor that into. And then you would also, to be fair, you would have to add back in the credit because these are credit trades. So it's a little bit better than 10%. But I'll build a formula that can do that. Oklo, that we did the 74 630 or 740 630, whatever. So that's about 1/7. So what does 1/7 equal? 12% or something? No, 13%, 14. I don't know. All right, PLTR. That one you're just closing. They just closed a tranche out. They closed 750 out. Probably made I don't know if they made a big profit or not, but I bet they sold that for more than 79 cents. You know, the ones they initiate a new one, they usually get multiple dollars, 5, 6, 3, 4, something like that. And then when they close it, hopefully they close it for pennies. Sell it for multiple dollars, close it for pennies. Rigetti, they did the 165, 135, 30 points on 165, whatever that is. 1/5 is about 20%. In other words, pretty wide, but I mean, it's Rigetti also. Anyway, okay, so let's look at some other stuff. Or if there's anything you guys want to talk about, mention it, but you haven't. So let's go to OptionStrat and see what's going on with Google and that kind of stuff. Let's open another window. I might show that one later. All right. Geez, what's going on with Tesla? I guess they missed earnings? Yeah. Well, max loss is $1,600, and it looks like that's where it's going. Well, bad job, Google. Google, I guess, is taking a shot at earnings. Google is, what's going on there? That's just not working or something. I don't know. Let's look at this one. Are these expired or something? Active. Anyway, they're up a little bit. In phase down $100. Yeah, my Qscape's not gonna work out. I just have till tomorrow. I really needed 18. Gosh darn it. Anyway, it's fine. Glad I didn't play Tesla. Holy cow. All right. Let's talk about what else can we talk about? New prospectuses. Oh gosh, I haven't seen this. Oh yeah, I did see that one. Okay, here it is. Thank you, Bo. I've been looking for this one. Defiance NASDAQ 100 double short hedged ETF. And this is the one I heard Jay and Mike talk about. And they're selling leverage on both sides. This one's been a long time in the making because I haven't heard about it since, other than when Bo sent this to me about a month ago. Kick ass. All right. Kick ass. I need to look at this. Let's look at the option strategy. By simultaneously shorting both the long 3X and the short 3X, the fund aims to exploit these differences and generate returns. For example, the long 3X fails to deliver 3X returns over a given period greater than 1 day. It may experience negative performance, and they're selling the decay. I mean, that these things erode like a mother, and they're going to, or they can. I mean, they have the ability to, just because they're anything triple leverage does. If you look at a chart of T triple Q, it doesn't look like it decayed a lot lately, but it did. In the April pullback, it lost 50% of its value. So anyway, but yeah, they're monetizing this. This is for all the panicans who want to talk about erosion. Now they're giving you a product that actually erodes, and they're selling the erosion. I mean, they're trying to monetize it on both sides, but that is wonderful. And when it says hedged, I just assume they have a call because it can only drop to zero, but something can blow up. So I bet they just hedge one side of it. But okay, let's look at this. This is incredible. So, okay, it says it may experience negative performance for that period, thereby resulting in positive performance for the fund. Heck yes, Jay. Heck yes. Similarly, if the short 3X fails to achieve 3X returns over the same period, this may result in negative performance, will result in negative performance for the short 3X NASDAQ, thereby resulting in a positive performance for the fund through its short position. That's wonderful. So under normal market conditions, the fund will target approximately 100% exposure to each position. So they're return stacking. They're putting, this is incredible. I mean, they really shouldn't be able to afford 100% in each position, but they offset each other somewhat. So this is incredible. I've said for a long time they need to bring out a return stacking fund where they're long Qs and they're long NASDAQ at the same, I'm sorry, not NASDAQ, and they're long VIX at the same time. Manage it professionally. And I mean, and I'm not saying I could figure out how to do it, but these guys could figure out how to do it. NASDAQ. It's called statistical arbitrage, and that would be wonderful if they did that. Anyway, this is close though because they're long and short at the same time, 100% exposure each side. And they're trying to mitigate directional market risk associated with index movement. That tells me right there that they aren't going to get much upside. I mean, they're foregoing all the upside. I mean, because it's not going to be a growth fund. I don't think the fund's net exposure to the index is intended to remain neutral. So the fluctuations in the index's value have limited impact on the fund's overall performance. You could also call this delta neutral, or it is delta neutral, but I'm calling it's return stacking. And that return stacking fund, they're getting 100% of gold and 100% of bonds at the same time, or 100% of gold and 100% of Bitcoin. I saw one this morning that's 100% Bitcoin and 100% NASDAQ. You shouldn't be able to do that, but you can with leverage. But you better hope they offset each other. You could lose on both sides. On this one, I don't think it's possible to lose on both sides. But on those, but I do think you could lose on NASDAQ and Bitcoin. That one makes me nervous because risk assets tend to move together. I think that one would get nailed in a pullback. But boy, it would be glorious in a melt up. Now, NASDAQ and gold makes sense to me. And I think they have return stacks that do those. Those should go anymore, though. Gold's going the same direction as NASDAQ, but not traditionally, though. That might work. But anyway, this is incredible. This is absolutely incredible. The fund does not invest in the compound securities of the index, does not seek directional exposure. Yeah, so anyone that's trying to get, if you don't like NAV growth, or if you don't like whatever, this one is a different kind of fund. This is a different kind of fund. To achieve the desired short exposures, the fund may employ one or more strategies: direct short selling, so they just short the shares, swaps, and option strategies. Okay, so synthetic short positions. They'll use the option strategies. They aren't going to use swaps or short selling, I bet, because they're an option house. And this is exciting. Hedging risk. The fund, I guarantee, is called buy a call. I bet, or maybe they buy an option on either side. The fund strategy is designed to enter short positions to offset market movement and the value of the index. The success of the strategy is subject to the advisor's ability to correctly assess the degree of correlation between the short positions. Since the characteristics short of securities changes market change or time passes, the success of the fund's hedging strategy will also be subject to the advisor's ability to continually recalculate, readjust, and execute. I've been asking for this forever. I wanted them to do a Tesla and crash and manage that professionally, just like they're talking about in here. And Jay didn't want to do it, but anyway, they stole my idea though. They didn't want to do it there, but this is the same concept. This is incredible. This is a hedge fund concept. It's like, this is incredible. All right. Well, I'm excited about that. I'll look at that more on my own time. Hope that, all right. So, hey, Jonathan, how you doing there, bud? SB or BTGD, Bitcoin God. I know I always talk about Bitcoin God. 100% Bitcoin and gold stacked. Yeah. That one I think could be good too. It just makes me nervous. Qs and Bitcoin. I mean, but it'd be glorious on the way up. I mean, it would be glorious on the way up. Yeah, Dan, thank you for mentioning that. If you guys haven't already, please like and subscribe. There's 10 of you here this morning. I really appreciate it. I have a new video coming out yesterday. I made a video that was inspired by our talk yesterday about the lightning spread, and I stayed up late and I made like a 28-minute video, and it's a little bit involved. Don't watch it if you aren't an option bro, but I talk about path dependency, but this may become a regular series. You could look at path dependency in any of these strategies, but it's in the lightning spread, it's particularly important because of the way they do their trades. But anyway, that video should be out soon. Hopefully you guys like that. But yeah, Dan, thank you for reminding everyone to do that. Boy, I'm excited about that. I'm glad we checked that out. All right, let's look at the buffer report. Index buffer. Let's see what's going on. That's exciting. And I was getting that confused with LevMax because I saw that around the same time. That's not LevMax, though. That's Defiance. And that'd be perfect for Defiance. And I can see it now, though. People are going to be mad that the market's up 10% and they're going to be flat. I hope not. I mean, hopefully the yield will justify it, but people want everything. People want it to be up. And so, people get mad. The first thing they do is you put something in and compare it to the Qs. It's not so bad anymore, but that's used to be what they did. See it? Look at this. Anyway, all right. SPY-T looks good. SDTY looks good. T-SPY looks good. WDTE looks good. SVOL looks good. Well, SVOL looks nice. The market's really not, the market's only up a nickel, so that's not going to be a lot of. Hey, Jonathan, or if you're still here, do you want to plug what do you have going on today? Do you have didn't I see something? Do you have something coming up today? Let's just look at it. Anyway, but we had Jonathan and I had a good interview yesterday. A good show. What is going on, mister? Come on, mister. You got to turn around. I guess Misty's no longer the GOAT. What the heck? I hope that's not a precursor for things to come for the market. Tony, this is a bad sign when this faster moving average goes red. but the other one is still green, and that's what happened to Bitcoin. Not really a bad sign, but it's a sign that maybe a pullback's on the way, which is what happened. Anyway, but on futures, they're both still ripping up. They are both still ripping up. We didn't really look at SPY this morning. Let's look at SPY, and SPY's different than futures just because it doesn't trade at night. I mean, it's what's not to like, right? That looks beautiful. That looks beautiful. All right. Well, anyway, let's see if Jonathan's answered on his show. Maybe he may have just tuned in, and then maybe he's doing something else too. Hey, retire on dividends. Let's go look. I want to plug Jonathan's show for him. Jonathan does a great job. So he's doing a great job. He's similar to, he's trying to teach people about high yield funds. A similar mission to why the reason I got in this. I wanted to dispel stuff. That's what he does. He's always doing educational stuff. I don't even think he's monetized or doing it for money, and you should be. Jonathan, you need to start a YouTube station. It's easy to get monetized on YouTube. If I can get monetized, anyone can get monetized. I forget to share my screen half the time. I mean, you know. Okay, but anyway, here it is. Too late to win, Bitcoin and gold. Oh, that's what it's about. He's going to talk about, that's why it was in my mind. He's going to talk today at 12. He's going to talk about Bitcoin God. And I love that fund, BTGD. And I know that's blasphemous. I need to quit saying that. But anyway, Bitcoin, BTGD. That's wonderful. So that's today at noon. And then I thought I saw somebody have Sai Katara on. Or no, I think that was yesterday, and that was old Amy Roundhill. I need to go watch that interview. She had Will Rind on. That guy won't come on my show. I think he got mad because he figured out I didn't like Trump or whatever. Remember, I don't know, but I don't know why he won't come on the show. But I was talking about how the tariffs were going to be inflationary, and they haven't been really. So I was wrong. I can be wrong. I mean, I'm wrong all the time, and I'll admit I'm wrong whenever I'm wrong. But anyway, they haven't been so far. So, all right. And that's what he said. He said, and maybe I could just tell he's a Trumper, and he's probably just excited. He needs Trump for his business, because the market will go up. And so I get that. I totally get that. All right. I totally get that. Let's look at the yield max buffer report. We've already looked at the index buffer. What's down the most? GPT. Come on, GPTY, LFGY. You got to be kidding me. YMAC. You guys, what are you guys doing? What are you guys even doing? All right. Look at this. What is going on? AIYY 7%. Tesla 7%. Holy cow. Gooey's killing it. Gooey's killing it today. Looks like the Google one's going to work out, but that other earnings did not go well for those other companies. Look at this. This is from January 1st, 2021 to December 1st, 2021. A great time to be in the market, especially to be in NVIDIA. Here's a covered call strategy, a weekly covered call strategy during that time frame. Look at that, 19% return on used capital, total profit, max drawdown 7.32%. Look how much you left on the table, though, because you're fully capped, 134%, and you just done nothing. Not that covered call strategies are the greatest thing in the world, but you got 19% upside right there, right? Well, let's look at the lightning spread. This is what the whole video is about, but this is a sneak preview. We'll look at the lightning spread over the same time. When you look at that, 38% upside, draw down a teeny bit more, but one was 8, one was 6. That's fine. And the lightning spread protected capital. Look, NVIDIA was down 24% at the worst point. The strategy was only down 8%. I wasn't saying the lightning spread's not the most badass thing in the world yesterday. And this is evidence of it. You cover call strategy gets 20% over the same time frame. The lightning spread gets 38%. That's wonderful. I wasn't trying to talk bad about the lightning spread or anything. You just have to understand how it moves the risk around the schoolyard. Anyway, watch the video and I'll get into more of that in a little bit. Yeah, they have not been inflationary yet. Exactly. So, but anyway, like I said, I can't always be right. I mean, in fact, I'm wrong a lot of times. So, you know, remember when, I don't even want to get into some of my wrong picks, but last August I was pounding the table. Last July, this thing's going down. This thing's going down. I got totally hedged and everything. Begged everyone to get hedged. I was right about that. So, but like I say, then I ruined that because I also, any profits I made from that, I put into that. I thought it would go down right before or right after the election, and I was dead wrong about that. So, anyway, but yeah, they haven't been yet. So, you know, see, the other thing was at the time they were talking about blanket tariffs, 100% everything. But when it's actually come out, they've been more strategic. They're lower numbers. So what's actually happened because of some of the tacoing hasn't been what they were talking about initially. That would have been inflationary. Maybe now they're threading the needle. And Bessent, I really like Bessent. Not so much on Lutnick, but whatever. But I do think those guys are businessmen and trying to keep the market going up. So we're on the same team in that concept. And I don't really think that's what will. Maybe I just need to email him again. I'm sure he's a busy guy. I'd love to get him on the show, but I don't know. Maybe he watched my show and he thinks and he doesn't want to come on because I don't talk about his funds enough or something. And we don't really talk about his funds enough. I bought YSpy the day it came out. Let's see how I did on that. Let's see how I did on YSpy the day it came out. And just for fun, I wanted to, you know, and I like the concept of YSpy positions. Yeah, but the lightning spread's one of the greatest things since sliced bread. But in certain circumstances, it's going to do worse than covered calls. But as long as you know that going in, you're fine. Then there's other circumstances like the one I just showed you where it's going to double covered calls total return. All right. Let's see here. Where's YSpy? YSpy. So it's trade price 21 and it's at 2067 right now. Look at Alti. I bought Alti the first day that I got this. So that was at a market high, $8.30. It's at $6.22 now. And that's fine. Just paid a ton of dividends. I mean, I'm not upset about that, but it's just, that's what people talk about when they say Alti no go up. You know, if you're concerned about NAV return, because that's only since last December. So that's what, 8 months now. Because we have August, September, October, November. Now, yeah, 8 months, 12. Yeah. So in 8 months, destroyed some capital. If all you looked at was the NAV from 8 to 6, that's a big hit. You know, so anyway, look at old GPTY bought it at 43. It's at 46. Look at old LFGY got it at 37. It's at 39. GDXY bought it at 1542. It's at 1496. Misty got it at 21. It's at 21. YMAX, I should have kept that one, but it's, you know, got it at 14. It's down to 13. Coney got it at 1078. It's down to 9. What about old AMD? AMD was really making me mad, and it's still not above water. Bought it today 41, and it's today 35. But like I say, these all have great total return. It's you know, and everything's on drip. So anyway, all right. Well, dude, I looked at YSpy though. I did. I forgot what it was. 21 to 20. Okay, it's almost, it says above water. All right. Jonathan, Cy from T-Spy. Oh, that's so it was you. Okay, my bad. Okay, well, put it up there and let us know. And you always send me notifications, and I will be darn sure to tune in. I say that every time. The problem, if you ever have a hard time getting a hold of me on X, Jonathan or anybody, I have 3 different X accounts, and I need to, there's a way to merge one. The one I'm using isn't the one I like to use. I have one on my iPad that I like to use more. But then on the other hand, if I am going to like shit post or something, you try to use the iPad. So I don't, and I don't do that a whole lot, but I mean, but anyway, there's a way to have both accounts where I can see them both on the iPad. So I'll see that message as soon as it comes in. Anyway, you guys know what to do. Just hit me up with the text. If anyone's trying to get a hold of me in Discord, in Twitter, wherever, and you haven't seen me, I'm better about answering text. Just shoot me a text and say, hey, I sent you a message in Discord or something. Anyway. All right, guys. Well, if there's nothing else to talk about, there's only 9 of you here. I've already lost a person. Probably when I started doing that back test. I guarantee you, as soon as I get out the back tester, people drop off, and that's my favorite thing to do. You guys are really going to like this video. It's 28 minutes, but I don't know. The Option Bros will like it. But it does that same thing. We look at a cover call strategy versus the lightning spread in different situations, and sometimes it does better, sometimes it does worse, and I talk about path dependency a bunch. So, hey, Froggy, thanks for being here. Anyway, I'll let everyone go. I'm going to be ready. What time is that? What time is that show? My time, Jonathan, the Central Time Zone. Do you know what? Oh yeah, I have 2 spaces today. I'm sorry. But yeah, Bitcoin and gold I'm excited about. The others with Cy from T-Spy. Cy's a great guy, of course. Come in here and share every morning. And same with you, Retire on Dividend. You don't really need to, but if you have something coming up, big interview or something with Sylvia or whatever, put it, you put it in here or whatever. I think Retire on Dividend site is SEO well enough already, but anyway, I need to start shooting my stuff that I'm doing over to Jonathan and have him read. Maybe I need to start promoting myself better on when I put this video out. I'm also going to put a notice on X. And I bet Jonathan will be nice enough to repost it. And then, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. All right. Well, anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Well, I appreciate it. Retire on Dividends, the best. He's the one that doesn't sleep. And I still can't believe it, Retire on Dividends. I figured out how to use Python to do 99% of the heavy lifting. You could have Python, and you're smart enough to do it. You'd figure it out in 2 seconds. But you could have Python do all that stuff for you that you did that way, because a lot of that stuff you do manually. And I know you have your own system down and you do it for a living. So I get that you're good at it, and that it doesn't bother you or whatever. But yeah, you are incredible, Retire. I mean, you're the hardest working man, and you and Jonathan are the hardest working man in the high yield space. All right, guys, I'll let you go. You have a wonderful day, and I'll be looking for that video, and I'll talk to you later.